with you guys the abundance versus scarcity mindset. Now, the scarcity mindset is this limitation on beliefs, like a belief system in particular. The scarcity mindset says, I don't believe that I can have this, or I'm happy with what I have, or I'm limited in what I have. And that just is not the right way to go about life. Whereas the abundance mindset simply states, I'm able to have more than enough, I am worthy of enough, I have options, I am unlimited in my belief system, I am unlimited in what I can achieve. And so developing this mindset is simple, but the actions and discipline that it takes is what separates the weak from the strong. That's what determines who really wants it. So there's multiple texts throughout the world that indicate what an abundance looks like. And I'm going to give you a quote today by Lao Tzu that says exactly this. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way that things are. When you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. That's what really determines how badly you want it. Who wants it more? Because the majority of individuals are stuck in this fear-based state, whether it's XYZ, right? Primarily, it's usually finances. Maybe they had a situation in their family that they had to lose money to make a payment. Or maybe it could be like a generational curse where it's just like this fear of poverty, this poverty-based mindset. Stress has such a hold on these people, right? They're so flustered in their thoughts, the anxiety, the what ifs, what if this happens? Oh, I can't handle this, I can't handle change. It's so hard for them to digress, to go out of that comfort zone, to cross that boundary, whether it's for the better or the worse. Now, we talked about before, triggers from past traumas can also cause this to resurface, right? I want you to picture that you're swimming and a tidal wave comes in, and then it starts to slowly get higher and higher. The water level is rising, and then soon enough, it's over your head. Carl Jung talked about this in his philosophy and in his studies, right? Because eventually that trauma resurfaces and it overtakes us. And then you have to ask yourself, has life taught me the lesson enough? Or do I want to put it on the back burner or wait, 10, 15 years? And then maybe I'll change. The real nail in the coffin with this scarcity mindset is because it's rooted in that hidden part of us, right? It could be the shadow archetype. It could be unresolved subconscious thoughts. As a result, we take actions that feed into this self-fulfilling prophecy, because then we can look back at it and go, I knew that was going to happen. But the reality of it is you only knew it was going to happen because you were acting out of your own subconscious. You already had planned, you already had prepared what was going to happen because your preconceived notions and thoughts were fixated on the negative. And so this opposite of fixating on the negative, right? This opposite of pessimistic outlooks and the scarcity mindset, I'll never have enough, I'm limited in what I can do, is to cultivate a garden of abundance. But you have to nurture. If you want things to last, you have to nurture, you have to cherish, you have to nourish. If a plant doesn't get water daily and sunlight, it's going to die. It's probably going to wither out. And we are just the same way. So when we are not taking care of our bodies, when we are not getting that fulfillment from self-discovery, being able to work on ourselves and to heal those parts of ourselves, we're just living a lie. And we're like a garden that's waiting to be dried up. So in order to have this intense desire and this abundance mindset, you have to do the inner work. I can run circles around people all day pretending I have a false sense of confidence. I can pick up as many women as I like with one-liners and pickup artist tactics. But at the end of the day, I'm probably going to feel like garbage if I haven't done the inner work. I'm probably going to be super insecure so that when I have the prospect, if I choose to be romantic and get in a relationship, I'm not going to be able to hold that relationship because I've decided that game is super important and not being able to understand other people and their communication and taking care of my needs is more important. And so it's an uphill battle. People will change only if they want to change. You cannot make people change, just like you can't lead a horse to drink water. So let's just talk about some things very briefly that you might be feeling if you're in a scarcity-based mindset. Generally, these people tend to play the victim more often than not, right? A lot of these people tend to blame the government or the world for their issues or the last environmental crisis. Rather than trying to take some sort of control over the situation, it's easier to just place it on somebody else because they don't really want to do the work. So it's much easier for me to put responsibility on somebody else, even though I can make that change. So when you are scarcity based, you are so happy, right? You're just ecstatic to chase the little wins, and then you're content. You want to be at that even keel, right? You don't want to put a lot of effort into it. You're kind of just comfortable with where you are. And if that's you, and if that's your thing, you do you. But the people who want to prosper and succeed and live the most fulfilling lives would not be thinking in that manner. As a result of this victim mindset, they have a higher likelihood to project on others. They tend to have these feelings that are inner insecurities that they project on others, right? Because again, it's an issue with taking responsibility. It's I'm limited, and so, the world's against me. I've had bad relationships, so this is bound to happen. They don't want to confront their fears. They don't want to confront their fears at all, and they don't like change. And the interesting thing about it is that these people are scared of competition, whether it's in the workplace, relationships, or sports, really. They are so scared to step outside of their comfort zone. They are so insecure, and they just don't want to do the work. Polar opposite of this is the blessing of abundance. I can have anything and everything I want. I have unlimited options in this world. I choose to live a fulfilling life that is beneficial to my health. And so as a result of this, you learn ebb and flow. You learn that sometimes there's going to be disappointments in life, and you are accepting and welcoming of that change into your life. You've learned your lessons, and you try to change things. Maybe it was a negative lesson, maybe it was a hardship you encountered, but you try to make that difference. You try to change it. You are pleased. You are so pleased to see others succeed in all that they do. You want to encourage others. You want to lift up others. You want to sow into others. You want to love on others. This is an abundance mindset. You must love freely. They learn to express gratitude. And this isn't some like Pinterest thing or like, drink your water, drink your water and say your affirmations in the morning. Those things are important. But you are just so thankful. You get up in the morning and you're grateful to be alive. Some people don't make it through the night. And you're thankful that you have a family. And at times, maybe it might not feel like that. But you have somebody. And you got to appreciate the things that you do have in this world without comparing it to others or being upset that things got arranged a different way. Because you learn the true beauty in life is being able to have an experience. And if things don't work out, so be it. Now that being said, as a man, when you learn to cultivate this mindset of abundance, you learn what you do and don't tolerate from women. You learn how a woman should respect you, just like a woman needs love and admiration. And to be reassured, a man needs respect. A man needs to feel valued and respected. A man needs to feel like every little thing that he does is appreciated. Whether it's working, whether it's cooking a meal, whether it's taking the kids to school. I don't really care what it is. I was discussing this with a college roommate of mine a couple of weeks ago, that if a woman said to a man, honey, I just appreciate, let's say they're married, right? Honey, I just appreciate everything that you do for us, for this family, for the kids. You get up at 6 a.m., you work hard, you make time for me, you do all these things. And we just talked about if a feminine woman said that to a man, we would run on that for a year and a half. That's why it blows my mind that there are so many intolerant, immature, Emotionally unavailable women that don't even know how to hold a relationship because they can't respect the fact that a man works hard. And maybe it's because some of them were entitled, or maybe it's because they made a choice. But the bottom line is, when you are high value, when you appreciate who you are, and you remember who you are, trust me, you will not tolerate the BS in the games and all the stuff. We don't play that. If you want to play those games, you'll find somebody else. Because the truth of the matter is, if a woman doesn't respect a man and he values himself, there's another woman in line waiting who's going to do a much better job. And so they're secure in themselves. They know what they bring to the table. They value themselves. They love themselves. They take time to themselves. They want to grow. So I want to share a brief story about my grandpa, rest in peace, Grandpa Bill. He was a business professor, and all his entire life he just saved money. And he was in World War II, he served in Normandy and stuff. He brought supplies to them. Just a total badass dude. But the thing about it was, he was so scared to invest. So when he passed away and my Nana was dividing what was left, there was broken dishes, right, that he planned on gluing back together to save money rather than going out and getting some. So he had all this money he amassed, right? We're talking quite a bit. But he was so frugal with it that he was scared to invest. And it could have been the time that he was growing up in. I know that I don't want to live that way. I'm going to have to take risk. If you want to have an abundance mindset, you are going to take the risk. Again and again and again. Because there's a lesson to be learned there. And that says a lot as a business professor to just save their money because they were scared to invest it. And they thought that holding on to their money was a better investment. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that way with how I treat other people. I don't want to be that way with how I handle my finances. We're only on this earth for a limited amount of time, and you best believe I'm going to use up as much as I can doing the mission, taking care of the things that need to be done, and that I know I need to accomplish. And just to summarize, a portion of this was yesterday. I had one of those big heave-ho guys come into the gym, total beta male, super just pretending to be super alpha, just all hunched up like this. He's getting in my way, with the weights and stuff. And I'm just seriously, dude? Please, go seek therapy. So I'm sitting there lifting, and I'm not going to lie, I got a little aggravated. And I had two choices. One was to call him out on it. I was like, I don't really want to deal with that. Two was to kind of give him a little bit back. So he's lifting directly in front of the mirror. I lifted some heavy weights and placed them right in front of him while he's curling with very little room for me to even put that stuff. And then I just walked off. You were not about to treat other people like that and then be dealt with no repercussions. You want to talk about entitled? So I'm sitting there doing kettlebell presses on the floor, all right? And I'm kind of in my head a little bit. And I'm like, well, this guy's a little bigger. I don't really get intimidated by big people, but there's just something about him that kind of got on my skin, I won't lie. And I just started chuckling, dude. This dude's just looking at me. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, I remember who the F I am. And I was just laughing. I'm like, how could I even let that little sliver of doubt get in my mind? Because when I have an abundance mindset, I know what I bring to the table. I know what I'm capable of. I know the life that I want to live. And I know I want the right people in my life. So food for thought. If you ever doubt your self-worth, I want you guys to think about, as men, maybe what are your skills or talents? What can you bring to the table, right? Too many times you guys get in your own head and you're like, oh, she won't like me, I'm like this, I don't make a lot. It's not always about that. It's how you present yourself. And a lot of it has to do with energetic alignment. If you're not energetically aligned, right? This mindset, you're manifesting, you're radiating this energy. I'm not talking about law of attraction or The Secret, none of that. I'm talking you physically transform yourself into this person who brings abundance because you are radiating near the same frequency as the abundance itself. So naturally it has to come to you. In another text, it's actually from the book of Matthew. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Kind of sounds like the law of abundance, no? So bottom line is, get rid of the self-doubt. Learn your worth. Do the inner work. Cultivate a garden of abundance, and you will see the results appear. It could be days, weeks, months, years. But the choice is yours. You can continue to remain stagnant, living in this fixed mindset. Oh, nobody will ever like me. Or you can have as many options as you want. You can attract the type of life you want to lead. You can attract the type of finances that you are looking for. You can attract the type of people that are going to be beneficial to your circle and to your health. Choice is yours. So if this resonated with you, hit the like video, leave a comment below, and make sure you subscribe. I try to release videos each week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. As always, stay frosty.